Hey everybody, I'm Tommy and you are on the boat. We've got Tommy Bird. It looks like we got Jane Aldrich. Kristen Melinda, good to see you. I'm glad that you are here. Barbara Aldrich, hope you're having a happy Thanksgiving. Boy, my eyes are really tough. Struggling because the light is so, normally when I do this, it's nighttime and it's a heck of a lot easier to see the screen. I do the blackout stuff because my doctor said it's easier on the eyes. Caroline in Canada, Barbara Waite. I hope that you got all of that pumpkin pie, and I hope you tricked your husband into making the bird as well. Jamie Palmer, good to see you. I'm glad that you are here. You know what, folks? This starts at Winchester. Super X, how are you? Hey, Fowler, what's happening? Kathy. People, if you've never gone over and checked out Kathy's channel, Kathy is a absolutely ridiculously talented musician. And there are times it's just fun to go over there and chill out and listen to her. I really enjoy her stuff. Lacey, good to see you. What's happening? Boy, oh boy, am I struggling. Here, why don't I do this? If I just see a name I can't read, I'll just pop it up on the big screen, and then we got a better chance to see it. Yep, that didn't help at all either. I'm glad that you're here. My eyes are so bad, but I promise you I'm getting them fixed before Christmas. This is your third Thanksgiving with me. Well, congratulations. That's awesome. And I am honored like you cannot believe. It's good to see all of you. I want to tell you something. This is not going to be a long one, but the title is apropos because it starts is something that that every year at this time, we do a lot more content on the boat. First time you've managed to get on a live? Well, it's good to have you here from Scotland. Well, I am honored and I am glad that you are here. So in Estados Unidos, in North America, everyone is celebrating Thanksgiving. And Thanksgiving is a day of turkey. It's a day of a lot of things. The pumpkin pie, cheesecake Lou made, it was stellar. I'm grateful. Yeah, that's all I can get. It's my vision is really bad. It's one of the reasons you see me squint. Like if I'm not trying to read, you can actually see my eyes, but I have to kind of adjust the my eye size, right? We tend to all do this. For grateful, the man likes to cook. You know what? I love cooking. Renee B, happy Thanksgiving. Good to see you. Every year at this time, I start putting up a lot more content, and I'm going to give everybody a brief history. If you've been here 3 in a row, like my friend the musician, then you've probably heard this in the past. We do not celebrate Thanksgiving in South America. It doesn't mean expats don't. There's a lot of people from the United States that live down here, and they do get together and have Thanksgivings. It is uniquely an American thing. As it turns out, it's probably not what they told us in school. You know, they told us that the Native Americans were just so happy to have us that they, on their land that they threw us a big feast. I don't necessarily buy that. However, I like the idea of taking time and saying, these are the things that I'm grateful for. By the way, I'm not wearing a watch. I'm not wearing a ring. There's nothing to read into that. My hands are swollen. The arthritis thing was really bad after all of the work I did yesterday. Do you need LASIK or cataract surgery? I don't need either. This is just an old age thing. And by way of full disclosure, the reason that I haven't already gotten glasses is because the doctor that I am working with has said to me, you might want to wait 6 to 8 weeks before you get any of that done. One of the reasons is my eye problem is not caused by anything other than age. This is quite simply put an age issue. So I have started testosterone replacement therapy, TRT. And he said very often that will bring back some of the vision. And I'll tell you what, at night, I have no problem reading the screen now. I'm sure I'm still, doing the squint Eastwood thing to make that happen. But no, I'm not going to be doing LASIK eye surgery or any of that. All I'm going to be doing, I was planning on just getting some glasses. I do fantastic at any distance. It's the screen and this distance is hard for me. But a little history to why the boat every year does this during the holiday seasons. And the reason is I got sober in prison. And I didn't, I was actually talking to my girlfriend about this, and she didn't realize the entire story. As I was telling it to her, she was surprised. But it wasn't one of those necessity things where all of a sudden I was locked up, so I can no longer do this, right? It wasn't anything like that. You could get my drug of choice very, very easily in prison. Hey, good to see you. What's that?
See what happens when you leave the door unlocked?
Yes. I think that says Thursday before. I leave the door unlocked and anybody can just walk in here. The Johnny Scoville just showed up. I thought he was out on the Malecon, but apparently he is back. But as I was telling my girl, you could get drugs very easily in prison, and you could usually get it on credit. Thursday before 2. There we go. Down to 1.5 pain pills a day. Woo! Harm reduction. What's happening? That's fantastic. So when I started to, I went through the process, and after I was done kicking, it wasn't a moment where I didn't want to do heroin anymore. In fact, it was all I could think about. And I got to a point by building a routine every day and doing the same things over and over again where I got that under control. It wasn't that there was not, hold on 1 second. Come on now. It's no one. There you go. I remember no one. Well, I'm glad that you are here, no one. Proud of you. So I was jonesing terribly. I had desire to continue to use drugs, and I was able to get it busy. Yes, I understood. Your name is no one, and I know no one. That's what I meant. I know who you are. So there I am, really struggling with this, and people say, you know, you got to do it one day at a time. Don't think ahead. Don't think I'm going to spend the rest of my life sober. You just got to get through that day. During the first holiday season that I was sober in prison, I was living by the second. I'm not kidding you. I was living by the minute. They would lock my door. I was telling my brother this yesterday. They would lock the door for you get locked down several times during the day for an official count. And they would lock us down before dinner. So it's about 3:30, they would lock you down. You get out at about 4:15, and dinner starts to go unit by unit. And I would say to my cellmate every single day, God bless him, he was a great older guy, but I would say to him every day, when they pop these doors, I'm going to go get dope. Like, I'm not doing this anymore. This is killing me. When they pop, and he'd go, okay. Yeah, I don't blame you. I don't blame you. Well, there's plenty of it in the unit. You can absolutely go get it. Someone else could also. Okay, so I would just, it was my plan every time. They would lock me in, and I'd go, man, this is bullshit. I can't do this anymore. When they pop these doors, I'm going to go get dope. And he never said, oh, don't do that, or try to talk me out of it. He would just go, yeah, no, there's plenty of it here. And then when they would come in the feds, they don't hit a button like they do in some places. They have to come and do every single door one at a time, right? That's why they call those guys turnkeys. But when they would come and pop the door, my cellmate would say to me as I was walking out, why don't you go see Q? Maybe go down and talk to your friend. And he said the same thing every single day. And I would walk into Q's cell and he'd go, how you doing? And I'd go, awful. And he would talk to me and sort of talk me down off the ledge. But it required me having human connection during every day that holiday season. And that particular holiday, 2 people in my unit took their own lives. It's a very difficult time for people under the best of circumstances. Most of the people that watch my channel don't live in the best of circumstances. And there are people, I talked about it last night on another show, there are people who are going to face this holiday season without loved ones. They lost a child, they lost a husband or a wife, they lost a family member. And I said this on a show last night. I remember calling my brother on Thanksgiving Day and saying to him, it was the year that we lost our dad. And I said to him, I can't think of one thing to be thankful for, for this Thanksgiving. It was a bad day for me. And he goes, how about all the years we had with him? The paradigm shift is something that as addicts and we're all addicts. If you go, I've never been addicted to drugs. You're addicted to your phone. You're addicted to food. You're addicted to gambling. You're addicted to porn. Everybody's addicted to something, right? Even if it's just looking at other people who have addictions and judging them, that's an addiction. It's unhealthy things that we do, even though we know we should stop, right? But a paradigm shift, having somebody point out something and you go, holy crap. I got a text right before I went live from my friend Will. And if you go, I thought you don't talk to anybody. As I've said, there are 2 people I talk to. One is Will. Will and I have been working one-on-one together. He's the last person that I'm going to work one-on-one with. It's a guy, and he's a great guy. I love Will. I truthfully do. And he sent me a text, and I'm going to read it because he wouldn't care. but this is what addiction and becoming healthy does for somebody. He sent me a text that said, I just want you to know that I'm grateful today that I can recognize things to be grateful for.
Wow.
I hope that that makes sense. And I wrote back, that makes more sense than you could possibly imagine.
For real.
Because I know exactly what that feels like, right? It is a very unusual thing when you can't see the forest for the trees. And unhealthy habits, addictions do that to us. Johnny Scoble, are you going to say hi to people? How about popping in here? I think that would probably be, that's Johnny Scoble.
Happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
The legend.
Love you, man.
The legend, Johnny Scoble. Cinnamon Girl, good to see you. I'm glad that you're here. It's going to be great when I don't have to lean in like that. I was addicted to coffee and then soda in high school. I really cut back on the soda since I turned 18. That's a beautiful thing. We had a person on the boat. This is a true story, man. We had a person on the boat the first season, and they came in, and we had a very small cruise, like 18 people, 15 people on every show. And somebody came in, Anna Banana, happy Thanksgiving. And they said, I'm addicted to energy drinks. And we're a really cool crew. There was nobody in that original crew of people that went, energy drinks, boo this man. Hopefully somebody got that reference. Nope, everybody just said, yeah, you know, that you can be addicted to anything. It killed him. It literally killed him. He was drinking 15 to 20 of those, what are the green ones? Monster energy drinks. And his kidneys ended up shutting down. Addictions come in so many different flavors. And you know what? They're addictions. I don't care what you're addicted to. We've had people come on and be really open and honest about every kind of thing that you could possibly imagine. We've had people come on who said, I'm addicted to porn. You know, I'm rubbing one out 8 times a day. And when I get stressed out at work, I go to the bathroom and I do it. Anything you're doing as a coping mechanism to not deal with the issues that you're actually supposed to deal with, you can sit down and watch cat videos, and I make them, I love them. But you can sit down and watch cat videos for hours on end. If you're doing that to avoid something else in your life, it's an unhealthy addiction. Joanne Hawley, happy Thanksgiving to you. And I am so glad you're here. You have no idea. I mean that. I'm really glad that you are here. And I wanted to weigh in on a couple of things. And thank you for the super chat. You have no idea how much that means. I wanted to weigh in on some of the things that I'm really thankful for, because it's been a hell of a year. If you've been paying attention, this is one that's going to stick out. You know, people go, hey, 2020. You know, there was a lot of really great memes about 2020. This one was my 2020. This was a very difficult year. It's also the best year of my life, truly. And things happen for a reason. I am in the best place I've ever been in my life, and I don't mean Ecuador. Although Ecuador is absolutely home to me. It was home the very first time that I walked in. It was just instantly, this felt like home. It was very much like where I grew up. It was small. Everybody kind of knows everybody, except there was an ocean right there instead of mountains. And it's just kind of fantastic, right? But there's a lot of things here. Yeah, you know what? Anything you got to cut back on. This is, a lot of people wait until January 1st to do that. This is a hell of a time to make changes in your life. Tommy Bird, I love that. It really is a great time to make changes. If there's something you're doing that's unhealthy, this would probably be a good time to take a hard look at it. I am thankful as hell that I don't feel the need to come out here and be anything other than what I am. Plain and simple. I spent the majority of my life from about the age of 11 or 12 on crafting an image that I thought people would like. And I think everybody does that to some degree, but I did it to a degree that was so unhealthy, it was amazing. And you do that for really long periods of time, and you get to a point where you're not exactly sure who the person is under the mask. And I will recommend to anybody, if you're struggling with that, have your world blow up. have the entire world decide that they hate you. And I'm not being a smartass. There's something incredibly liberating to that, because you get to a point where you go, you know what? I don't care. I'm not going to be able to survive if I do care. And all of a sudden, the image and the facade and all of the things that you're trying to put out for the world of, hey, this is who I am. The tough guy, or all of the things. There's a guy that wrote a book, and I believe he was the first person to ever talk about the box, right? Like, kids are in this box, adults are in this box, boys are in this box, girls are in this box. Yohari, I believe is the guy's name. But we are in boxes whether we want to be or not. And once people start calling you things like convict, drug addict, junkie, bank robber, thief, all of those things become labels that shape you whether or not you want them to. And you either can try to not tell anybody anything from your past, or you just kind of fall into a pattern where when you say things, some things seem to be very off-putting and some things seem to be very accepted. So the things that are accepted, you kind of take that as this is part of the new mask. I don't wear a mask anymore. And there's something very liberating in not telling, not having people contact you and weigh in on things. And I know that for a lot of people that's a bummer, because I used to interact with a lot of people here on kind of a one-on-one basis. I have finally gotten to the point where, I for 4 years I've been saying, put your mask on before you put on anyone else's. But I never even had one. I never even reached for one. I never even looked for one. I'm thankful that today I am in the best place that I've ever been. I'm thankful that my girlfriend and I were able to put stuff behind us that would destroy 150 relationships, much less one. And both of us are popping out on the other side in a very unique and kind of healed way. I think both of us are far less affected by what people think about us. And that is a gift that Ecuador gave me, the long con video gave me. But being in Ecuador and not seeing programming, I can't stress this enough. I talk about it a lot, but cheers to you too. Glad that you are here. But there's something amazing about how much we're programmed. About 10 years old, you start seeing car ads and they have really hot chicks in really beautiful cars. And the girls haven't eaten in 2 weeks. And all of these things become part of what you need to be happy. And they reinforce this and reinforce this and reinforce this. And what they've done is caused entire generations of people to hate the way that they look because they compare themselves to an ideal that doesn't exist. And the number of people that I've worked with since starting this channel who get shafazed or eat pills like there's no tomorrow because they think they're not perfect. And they think they're not perfect because they compare themselves to individuals who are fake. I was listening to a person who was talking about what guys like versus what girls like. And the person that was doing the interview said something very, very interesting. Hello, Heather. They said, but most guys like, girls with really long legs, really big boobs, really wide hips, super, super thin. And his answer was, I think that most guys really do like that until they heal. And I thought it was one of the most amazing things. And he went on to describe what that actually means. But he said, we tend to like whatever society tells us to like. And then you get to a point where you like yourself and you realize that a Ferrari doesn't make you happy. And the girl who's sitting next to you in the Ferrari isn't going to make you happy either. And I have a watch collection that is second to none, right? I have a really beautiful watch collection. Watches make me happy, but I don't wear them out in public. I'm not taking them out to show to people. But someone said to me, how do you justify the watch collection with all that? I'm not wearing them out for anybody else's attention. What makes me really groove to watches is how they function, the amount of work that goes into making them, the fact that you've never seen the coolest part of a watch. They decorate those movements and they do all of this artistry that no one's ever going to see. They made that for me because I'm going to be the guy that works on it. It's a level of pride in everything that they do that it's not good enough to make this thing indestructible. I'm going to also decorate it because this is my life, right? So it's just kind of a different thing. I don't buy into any of the BS anymore, and I'm completely comfortable with that. If you didn't see the show that I did last night with my girl, I admitted some stuff on that show that I would have never said out loud in my life. And it got a lot of other people to admit some stuff. People in the chat saying, I've never told anyone this. I've never told anyone this. And I didn't not tell anyone because I was ashamed. I didn't tell anyone because it didn't match the character and the mask that I wore. And I don't give a crap about masks anymore. I feel absolutely liberated to be where I am at right now. I don't care about making money. Super chats are great. And they used to come in about 15 a day. They're fantastic when they come, and I appreciate them at a level that I didn't in the past. It's a different world that I find myself in this Thanksgiving. And there's not a turkey sitting on the table with stuffing everywhere. We could have done it. We could have done it fairly cheap. But those things to me mean less than sitting around with people that you care about and saying, you know what I'm thankful for? This is my 11th Thanksgiving that I didn't have to get up in the morning and stick a needle in my arm so that my family didn't know I was dope sick. I'm thankful as hell for that. But you know what I'm more thankful for? I didn't think this Thanksgiving Day about dope until I was talking to my girl who said, are you going to talk about addiction? You know, people do like it when you talk about that. And I went, God help us. I haven't thought about getting high in so long. And these are the kind of things that were really a part of my life. Even for the first 7 years of my sobriety, I beat that dragon back every day. It was something that I literally had to fight every day because those desires, hello, Angie Mo, those desires were going to come on every day, especially when something went wrong. Yesterday, I beat a toilet to death with a claw hammer. Any other time in my life, good times. Any other time in my life, I would have said, F my life, as loud as you've ever heard somebody yell it. And the next thought would have been, boy, would I like to make this go away for about 8 hours, which was usually what I would say instead of, boy, would I like to do a shot of heroin, because that really scares the hell out of people. And if you just said, I'd really like to turn my emotions off for half a day, it sounds a little less scary. But that's what we use drugs for, right? I don't want my emotions to ever be turned off again. I'm going to have really bad days, and I'll come on and I'll mention it. I trust everybody in this chat while they're in this chat. And if that sounds mean, it isn't meant to be. But because of what we do for a living, people can show up in this chat as nice as you are who hate me. People can show up in this chat and be the most hateful people on planet Earth, make videos about me and pop in and go, big fan, been here for 4 years. You don't know the difference. And over time, you start to learn these things, and you have to put certain guidelines in place to keep you sane. But while I'm here, I trust everybody in the chat, and I trust them enough to talk about things that in the past I never would have talked about, because I'm not going to allow anybody to crawl into my head or my life and make my life less than because of things that I said here. I've warned everybody that I love, if you're not ready to hear the stuff that I'm going to talk about, maybe don't come here. But it's going to give us an opportunity during this holiday season for people who have been victimized as kids to probably be a little bit more open about it, because I'll be honest and tell you that I can relate to that. If that's confusing to you, you can catch the show that I talked about, because that isn't what this one is about. But there will be shows where I talk about that to some degree, because it wasn't my fault, and I don't care that they're going to make videos and have fun with it. I'm never going to see the videos. I'm not going to hear the emails. I'm not going to get the texts. So I'm going to be the person that I am. Tom, I am thankful I am having you in my life. Oh, how kind, because you help me tremendously all the time. I love that, Caroline. What a kind thing to say. What an incredibly kind thing to say. Last night's show with Reese was so powerful. It was I have never done a show like that. And we didn't set out to do a show like that. In fact, it just, I think great things usually happen that way. But you know what? I wish that I lived in a different world where every person that said last night, you know what, I've never said this out loud. I wish I could reach out to all of them and say, hey, this is what's, but I talked about this on the show before. I spent 2 weeks working with somebody, hunting emails, sending texts and doing all that, to have them send in the last one, how much of your time did I waste you? I won't say all of the lovely things they said after that. But you sit there and go, good Lord, like I'm praying for this person. This is just somebody having fun at my expense. I am thankful that YouTube isn't a threat to my life. And I mean emotionally, psychologically and physically, right? There's nobody out there anymore that can attack me in a way that's going to have an effect. And I'm thankful as hell for that. And I'm thankful that the people that understand are coming back. I'm thankful that people that I really do care about. I love seeing your names. It means the world to me. And I'm really looking forward to this holiday season. Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. It's absolutely more of a reason. And you may not believe this, but if I said right now, there are 4 or 5 people that hate me more than anyone else in the world, most of you thought of 3 names off instantly. We pray for those people by name every single day. I'm not kidding. It's liberating to beat hell when you don't hate back. And that's also something I'm thankful for this season, because it wasn't like that last season. It wasn't. I might have said stuff like, and God be with the haters. Now I'm praying for the haters by name. And it is it's a much better thing for me now. Yeah, I think that's probably a great way to put it. And thank you again, Julian. You have no idea what that means. You really don't. It means huge things. You took your power back. Yeah, Patty, that's kind of what happened, right? I'm not giving up anything anymore willingly. I'm not. I spent my entire life running. And you run with heroin, you run with booze, you run with whatever. For me, it was heroin. I used weed. I used everything. But the one that took away the pain was heroin, right? Nothing else ever did. But heroin took the pain away. And it was an escape. It's a cowardly way to go through life. It is. It doesn't make you a bad person. But once you understand why you're using it, if you continue to do so, you're a coward. I'm sorry, right? It takes a long time to realize it. And normally you got to get away from the chemical to even be able to process through any of these. But this holiday season, there'll be a couple of shows a day, always. There may be some days that there are 3. We do this every single holiday season because you know what? It sucks to be alone in the holidays. And connection comes in an awful lot of forms. And sometimes it's going to go where no one's going to judge you. Sometimes it's nice to go where no one's going to go, what, you call that an addiction? I was shooting 7 grams of heroin a day. You want to talk to me about some weed? I don't care what your addiction is. I don't care what you're struggling with. If you're struggling with something that you don't consider an addiction, or you just need someone to say, I'm glad you're here, that's what the holiday season is going to be here. This is a day where, again, people get together, they do turkey, they do all that. We got an email from somebody that we know really well here in town that said, we don't celebrate Thanksgiving here, but I want you to know that I'm thankful that you and your brother are in my life. And I thought, man, that's about as cool as it gets. And he's having a grand opening. So David, good to see you. I am absolutely going to be going to his grand opening. I'm fired up about it. It's a wonderful feeling to be comfortable in your own skin naturally. You know what? Yeah, I think you're right. And obviously you're right. But the reason I paused on that is I'm still working on being comfortable in my own skin. I'm not going to say that I'm there yet. I'm still struggling. And there are times that I'm a teenager and just am pissed off and I don't know how to cope. So I'm still kind of working on that.
Talk to the toilet.
Yeah, talk to the toilet. I'll send some photos, show you what I did to that toilet. It's really funny because when it fell over, it cracked. There's one little tiny crack. And by the time I was done hitting it, you probably could have snorted it. It got into some very small pieces. Please tell Luigi he has fans in the USA. I have a feeling that he probably knows that, but I will mention it. We film him from time to time and let him know that that's what we're doing. But I absolutely, whether or not I'm comfortable enough in my own skin to say I'm comfortable in my own skin, I'm uncomfortable trying to pretend to be somebody else. And I think maybe that's the start, right? I'm just not going to pretend to be anything other than what I am. And you know what? Like my girl says, we're not for everybody. There are certainly going to be people, and you know something, this may come as a shocker, but it's also very, very true. I watch stuff on YouTube where a cop goes to arrest somebody, and the guy that they're arresting, you've seen these, like they'll call them Karen videos if it's a woman, and what do they call it if it's a guy? Terry. Call it Terry if it's a guy. But just people that instantly start to berate the cop and you can't do this. You're not putting me in it. No, I'm not giving you my ID. No, I'm not getting out of it. And I'm rooting for the cop, right? And there are a lot of people on planet Earth that once you have been arrested for something as nasty as bank robbery or guns or whatever, that they're never going to accept you as a human being after that. I'm not pissed off at those people. And I think I spent a lot of time angry at those people. I get it. I do. I get it. If they had to go and spend, a decade or more living among those people, they would find some of the greatest people they ever met who just screwed up and end up in there, right? But if you've never been there, then your vision of prison is what you see in movies where there aren't any good guys in there and everybody's raping each other and stabbing each other and it's just the most violent place on earth. And you listen to the Wes Watsons of the world and you would assume that, there's a riot and a couple of guys getting stabbed every single day. And that's not the case. It's a very boring place to be until it's not. No, I'm not under arrest. You're kidnapping me. Don't touch me. I want my attorney. It's the funniest stuff in the world. The other great one is, because I've been dispelling myths about they don't have to read you your rights. Everybody hear that? They don't have to read you your rights. There is this assumption in North America that they pull over and go, you're under arrest. Before they say that, they have to say to you, you have the right to remain silent. They don't. They don't. If they're not going to ask you questions, then they don't have to give you a Miranda warning. The Miranda warning comes before the questioning. So dumbasses that walk to a police station and say, well, I heard you've been asking questions about me. I wanted to come in and talk to you. They sit down of their own volition. They were not arrested, right? They're not going to read them their rights. They're just going to sit and let you talk.
Or the people that think if they spelled your name wrong.
Right.
Quantum grammar.
I was in court once, Johnny Scoville, when a guy got up and said, you can't arrest me for this crime, or you can't send me to prison for this crime. And the judge said, why would that be? And they said, because on this paper, it says that this happened on March 7th. I was in prison on March 7th. I didn't get out of prison until the 17th. And the judge, who was a woman in Nevada, looked over at her court secretary and said, fix that and put the 17th.
Quantum grammar.
Boom. Yeah, quantum grammar, right? If you just stick around long enough and on a different plane, the things that people assume are real are not. Like I was talking about on the show that I did the other day. You know, I happened to catch somebody saying, this judge is paid off. You should see how bad they're treating the person. Judges are people too. If you piss a judge off, the next time you go in there, they're not going to treat you the same way. I was the same woman judge sent a guy to prison and said, that's a 5-year, and it's technically, she said a 1 to 5, because Nevada's a very weird state that way. But they said 1 to 5 years in the state penitentiary. And the guy went, 5 years? I can do that on the shitter without a wipe. And she went, okay, when you're done doing that and you do get around to wiping, you can give me another 5. Now you go, you can't do that. Oh, yes, she can. If you disrespect the court, there's a range that judges can go in. So if you give the judge the finger during the sentencing process, they can go, I'll just give you a couple more years on that. It happens every day. But people have this idea of what the legal system is, and I promise you they're wrong. It bothers me that by harassing law enforcement, it forces them to reveal private information about the suspect. Yeah, you know something that's ugly? There was a case, a YouTuber, a few years back that got into some issues or whatever, and then put the address of the cop up on YouTube.
Oh.
True story. Now, nothing happened to this person. So other YouTubers go, oh yeah, I'll just dox the person. The reason nothing happened is because they just hadn't figured it out or they didn't catch it, but they will absolutely break it off if they catch you doing stuff like that. If you disrespect the court, you're in deep trouble. I promise you. And it doesn't mean that the judge is bought off, right? If you, and by the way, I know what people are thinking. Wes Watson is the perfect example. Let's go with him. Wes Watson has a case coming up. He's going to court. He's facing a prison sentence of up to 10 years for beating a guy up on film. His previous prison sentence was for beating a guy up, right? So this is called priors. The judge doesn't take any crap from him, but he's making videos every day talking about, F it, I'll stomp that dude out. All of that stuff, it's public record, which means that the prosecution can go, Your Honor, we got a greatest hits we'd like you to watch. These are the videos this jackwagon made since, hey,
don't do that.
Sorry, she's attacking the couch. These are the videos he's made since being arrested. If they say to you, don't do this, this, and this, and you continue to do it, your life is going to turn into a shit show, and quickly. If you show a disrespect to the court, it's like getting out on bail and they say, the terms of bail are this. You can't go by your girlfriend's house. If you go by your girlfriend's house, they're going to revoke your bail. They're going to give you a 10-day, 20-day, 30-day, whatever sentence to actually do time for violating the terms of your, not parole, of your bail, your bond. So you violate the terms of your bond. They throw you in for 30 days. At the end of that 30 days, the judge can go back and say, all right, we're going to let you out. But it's going to be $250,000 because when we let you out on your own recognizance and told you don't do this, you did it. You don't respect the court, so we're going to give you $250,000 bond. Or they can say, you're going to have to wear an ankle monitor. That ankle monitor can never be more than 100 yards from your house. They can say, I'm going to put an interlock device on your car. You have to blow into a breathalyzer. You haven't been convicted yet, right? There's no conviction for driving drunk. But if you get in trouble for DWI and when they let you out on your own recognizance, you get caught drinking, they can put an interlock device. The amazing amount of latitude that a judge has to F with you once you start Fing with them is dramatic. If you're a YouTuber and you get in trouble, Jack Dougherty, maybe stop making videos. Maybe stop making videos, right? Don't have your friends make videos. Don't do anything that's going to piss off the judge. If you do, and the judge treats you like you beat him up in high school or beat her up in high school or didn't show up for the prom, it's not because somebody paid them. It's because you're a jackass. Just thought I'd say that. Hold on one second. They never did that show on Law and Order. I watched 4 videos yesterday. I'm doing some research about this Tekashi 6ix9ine guy. We're gonna have a show coming up on that because I have got a theory on this. You guys are gonna love this show. But anyway, I'm doing some research and I came across literally 4 people who said, "You didn't read me my rights." The cop literally has not even asked this person their name, right? There's no reason to say you have the right to remain silent. The funny thing is this too. They'll say you have the right to remain silent. None of them have the ability to remain silent. They're going to talk their asses off anyway because criminals believe if they're doing this, eventually they're going to say the right thing and that's going to get them let out of the cop car. How many times have you seen somebody go in and say, "I want an attorney"? And they go, "Okay, well then we'll stop asking questions. I can't tell you anything. I'll leave you alone for a little bit." They walk out for 20 minutes and you leave that guy in a room for 20 minutes. They're going to go, "On second thought, let's talk." Because the silence is deafening. It could be in Ecuador. Is it cold in Ecuador? Oh, hell no. Not ever. It's not ever cold in Ecuador. We have 4 distinct seasons here, except they're all some form of summer. We have a rainy season that lasts for a very short period of time, and we have a season that gets colder considerably. The sun doesn't come out as much, and it'll be about 70 degrees every day. On
those days it's cold.
On those days it's cold. When the sun doesn't come out, you'll feel like it's cold, and you'll see people walking up and down the Malecon with a big thick coat on and mukluks and a fur hat. It's kind of funny as hell, actually. But no, it never gets particularly cold here. We are right now in summer. Are we in first or second summer? We're in one of the summers right now, and the holiday seasons, especially it starts around Thanksgiving. But Morton Fissel, good to see you, brother. I'm glad you're here. Happy Thanksgiving. It gets really hot around Christmas, New Year's. And by really hot, I mean like 85. But the Ecuadorian sun, I had that incident with the cab. I had to stand outside for about an hour and a half. And I got cooked. Like the top of my head was peeling. The sun is different here. And people will go, "It's not that much different. It's not that you're really that much closer to the sun." Come to Ecuador. Walk around without a hat on for about an hour and a half and see what happens. We saw a video this morning of a guy who swallowed 42 bags of cocaine before he pulled over. Yeah, I saw that video. I'm familiar with this video. And he didn't make it. Yeah, he didn't make it. He ended up not surviving that. This is one of my biggest pet peeves ever, because I was a drug addict for so long that when they say stuff like he ate 42 bags of cocaine, were they $10 bags of cocaine that weighed 1/10 of a gram? Were they 1 gram bags of cocaine? Were they 1/4 ounce bags of cocaine? It's like guys in prison used to go, "I did a shot. It was like 90 cc's. Well, you could put $1 worth of heroin in 90 cc's of water, or you could put $90 worth of heroin in 1 cc of water, right? So the measurement thing drives me insane because we don't know how much the guy ate. I'm going to assume they were like 10 bags or 15 bags. So it's probably a 1/10 of a gram, but 42 of them. Eating cocaine is a bad idea. It killed Andy Gibb. If you remember Andy Gibb. Cocaine isn't meant to empty a stomach. It's a very dangerous substance. It is made from coca leaves, and they use petroleum, gasoline, diesel fuel. If they really, really don't care about money, they might make it out of ether, right? Ether evaporates, so it doesn't happen often. But when they use a chemical to break the stuff down, that chemical is going to rip the stomach lining apart in your stomach, and then it's all over the crime. I saw that video on TikTok, and I thought it was fake. You're talking about the video of the guy eating the bags? It definitely was not fake. That dude, unfortunately, and it happens every day. It does. It happens every day. It's just a lot of the times the guy doesn't come clean about it at all. And they, you don't know how much they ate or anything else. But yeah, he really did eat 42 bags. Happy Thanksgiving, Beast All Smokes. Good to see you. So I did want to make an announcement. I am thankful as hell you all are here. I really am. And I am going to be here for the holiday season the way we have always done it. My buddy swallowed a handful of... hold on a second. What was that? My buddy swallowed a handful of leaves. Rough afternoon. Does that say leaves? Yeah, leaves. Sorry, I'm really, really blind. But I'm going to get that fixed. I was in prison and a guard came in and I had Suboxone strips on the table. And there was probably 25 of them there. I grabbed and snarfed down all of those Suboxone strips so I wouldn't be caught with them. And he immediately freaked out and he's like, he's going to overdose. And he was trying to, and he ran me down to medical. And the process of waiting for the woman to come in and talk to me and all that was probably 45 minutes to an hour. And he kept saying, you got to pump his stomach and all that. And she's like, yep, we'll do that. Let me talk to him alone. And when the guard stepped out, she was like, how long have you been doing dope? I was like, my entire life. And she said, well, here's what I'm going to do. Instead of pumping your stomach, I'm gonna wait about an hour. And I have a feeling that you're probably going to just sort of breeze through this. I'm not saying to do this, right? Hear that? I'm not a doctor. However, there are certain drugs that once your receptors get completely hammered with it, you're not going to get a whole lot more out of it if you take more of it. Suboxone, because of how much Narcan is in it, makes the bioavailability of the drug decrease with the more of it you take. So if you took 10 strips of it, that's 20 milligrams of Narcan. That's a crap load of Narcan to have in your system. And Narcan knocks opiates off of the receptors. It's a very, very confusing substance. Created by a genius, Johnny Scoville. Yeah, John Lewis is the guy's name. All right, people, I'm going to be taking off here shortly because I need to go welcome the crowd to my friend's restaurant. He was yelling for an ambulance. In defense of the police officers, everybody goes, I can't breathe. I can't breathe as soon as they get pulled over, right? This is so common now. They're screaming at the top of their lungs, I can't breathe, which does require a lot of breathing to do, right? When you scream, you do it using the diaphragm, which is that muscle that makes lungs work. You're breathing if you're screaming. So they hear this so often. Should they have done something? They probably should have. But if you look at a cop and go, instead of screaming, if you look at a cop and go, I'm not going to BS you, boss. I got scared and I ate all the cocaine in my car. And you're going to be writing a lot of reports on me being dead if you don't get me to the hospital post haste. They will get you to the hospital. But when you start screaming like every other lunatic does to police officers, it's understandable why often they don't take it as seriously as they should. Why, thank you, Angie Mo. I hope all of you have a happy Thanksgiving. For those who are struggling, tomorrow look for the boat in the morning, and then I will do my normal night one as well. But I'll be putting up a lot more content between now and New Year's because this is the hardest time in the world to get through. It just is, right? It's hard for people that don't have habits or haven't sort of learned to walk with the demons from their life, because again. And somebody who I had on the show once said it, these are the kind of things that you don't ever get over. You don't. You just learn to walk with them. And you learn to do that in a way that still allows you to be, to enjoy life to its fullest, right? And I am thankful that you guys are here. I work in a nursing home. We know if someone is really choking. Yeah. You know what? I think most doctors would say the same thing. They have a pretty good idea if someone's BSing them. Unfortunately, the guys in blue don't get the level of training that you do. Yeah, I mean, I remember once driving through a red light at like 90 miles an hour because if I didn't meet the dope dealer in 5 minutes, he was going to close. And as soon as I went through the red light, the cops lit me up. And when I pulled the car over, I fell out, went to get out and started gasping like I was having an asthma attack. And they called 911. And when they put me in the back of the ambulance and the cops were taking off, the guy said to me, for future fakes, he said, you would not be able to, it's the breathing out part for asthmatics that you can't do. This is the worst fake I've ever seen. And I went, wow, thank you. He's like, I wouldn't try to bust you. He's like, do you want me to take you all the way to the hospital? I go, I don't want to get caught. He goes, well, we'll just stay here for about 5 minutes and let you out. No joke. But you start feeling, yeah. Anyway, between now and the next time I see you, think about the stuff that you're thankful for. And the example that my brother did the year my dad passed, when I said I can't think of a thing to be thankful for, how many years did we have him? And how great was he? A paradigm shift. If you actually sit down with a journal and start writing down things that you're grateful for, you'll turn off the emotional part of your brain. You'll turn on the executive part of your brain. You can't write out of emotion. You can start that way. But if you continue to write, it's going to be the executive function, the thinking part. Turn off the emotions. Life gets a lot better. I'm Tommy, people. You'll see a lot of me in the next month or so. between now and the next time I see you, be thankful. We'll see you on the next one. I love you. Have a good night. God bless.